What's up, guys? This is going to be a little series called You're Not Slick, You Gave Her the Ick. I think horror dating stories or like first date stories are hilarious. Elise Myers, she started this. She had the story about her going to Taco Bell, 100 tacos. Weird story, but it was unbelievably funny. It was so funny it kickstarted her career. I mean, she's unreal. Shout out to Elise Myers. Husband PSA is not a platform that's just like, oh, we're going to be giving husbands advice. Like, yeah, we're going to do that. But men, juice is for the men. I am an absolute sucker for some juicy content. My wife has to rip me away from like these drama channels. Like I watch Dad Challenge podcasts all the time. Why? Because it's juicy. I like watching his stuff because it's just, I can't handle it. When other people cringe, I love that. I love to sit there and cringe. So I'm going to read some of these stories. I mean, I haven't even read through these. I have a social media person, shout out to Jaden. She pulled all these and I'm about to just go through them. Let's just see what type of icks these dudes were giving these wonderful females. These are obviously anonymous, so I'm not going to read who said it. So this one, we'll start off simple and then we'll get into the longer ones. These are just like on Instagram. So like people either DM them or they put them in like the little like question box. So it can only be so long. So we'll go through them. Don't give a girl the ick. Have some riz. Not enough guys have riz. Like going out on a first date is such an important thing. Okay, you need to either have an unbelievable date planned or you need to have unbelievable conversation. It's very hard to go on a first date and not have one of those two that I just mentioned. You know, luckily if you're light skinned like me and you have your stuff together, then you can have both. I had both, and that's why I outkicked my coverage and I have a smoke show of a wife who's pregnant, which is even more of a smoke show situation. Okay, first story. First response. I was talking about how much I loved animals and he told me he would shoot a squirrel and cook it for me. Okay, first off, weird. Why are you bringing up guns on the first date? She might be anti-gun. First off. Second off, she loves animals. Why would you talk about killing animals? Find out if she's even a vegan. She might be a vegan and she might not even eat meat and you're talking about killing an animal and cooking it. Weird. And why a squirrel? Like at least choose something that's funner than a squirrel. I've never even had squirrel before. I would definitely have the ick from that. Okay, so this one's funny. She said she went to a Dodgers playoff game that lasted 7 hours and she was constantly having to think of questions for conversation. First off, a horrible first date is a game because if that date goes bad, like it goes south, you're just stuck at the game. So that's first off a horrible thing. Second off, if you take a girl out on a first date, the best thing you can do is engage with her and ask her questions. As a man, if you go into that date and you just say, I'm going to find out as much about her as humanly possible, you're going to have a great chance of having a great date. The minute you start talking about yourself and man, I'm so cool. And no, you're done. Ask about her. 7 hours. That's a horrible plan. I took Allie out on our first date was a coffee date. Why was it a coffee date? I think coffee dates are the best first dates because you can drink your coffee as fast as you want. If it's a bad date, I'm tearing this coffee up. If it's a good date, you can just sip. She doesn't even know if the coffee's done yet. You can take your time and be there for hours. Me and Allie went on our first date for 4 hours. Got kicked out the Starbucks, but it was great. Okay. Ooh, this is not good. First date horror story. This guy took me to McDonald's on a first date and told me to order off the dollar menu. Nothing is more of an ick than a frugal king. We love somebody that's frugal, but you can't go dollar menu for a first date. At the end of the day, if you're going to take a girl on a first date and you're going to get into the dating scene, be financially prepared to take on some of those first dates. Also, choose a place that's like better than McDonald's, but that's not crazy. You don't need to go to Mastro's on a first date, but go to a nice little sit down. You know, go to Texas Roadhouse, go to Chili's, 2 for $20. You want to be a frugal king, but you also want to be a king that knows how to stunt. And even if you don't have $1 million to spend on a date, show that you care, make it meaningful. Another great first date option if you don't have a lot of money is a picnic or something like that, or a coffee date. Those are really, really cheap options. And a picnic date shows that you're going the extra mile. It'll be cheesy, but if you like cheesy, you'll find a girl who appreciates that and it'll be a perfect match. Next one. Okay, this one's ridiculous. There was a man who is an actor. He performed a monologue in a restaurant. Listen, actors, if you're an actor and somebody's not used to being around actors and you go into actor mode, it gets like cringy and weird. And that's assuming like you're a decent actor. If you're a really bad actor and you go into a monologue that's really bad, it's awkward. Think about if you went on a date with somebody who sang and they were like, oh, I'm going to sing a song for you. Boy, you know you can't sing. Don't sing a song for your girl on a first date if you don't know how to sing. This is what this dude did. I'm going to go to a restaurant and perform a monologue, and I may not even be a good actor. Horrible first date. Also, it goes back to what I said. When you go on a first date, if you focus on trying to find out as much about her as possible, you have the best chance of being successful. Going on a first date and talking about yourself and how you're an actor and you want to perform a monologue in a restaurant, boy, get out the kitchen. If you can't take the heat, get out the kitchen, and you need to get out the kitchen. Next one. This is just weird. So she said, a guy picked me up and drove me through a car wash 3 times. That's it. Okay. First off, horrible first date idea. You can't even hear what they're saying because the car wash is happening. Second off, why are you going through a car wash 3 times? Like, you have some emotional trauma that you're unpacking that has led you to be super OCD to go through a car wash 3 times. Like, your car is clean after the second one. Worst case scenario. The third time is just egregious. This one's a little bit longer. Okay. Worst date story. Okay. This one's funny. Worst date story. I had a crush on this long-haired, long-bearded man, and I had been friends with him for years. He finally asked me out, and I was pumped. We met for the date, and I was shocked when I saw him. He had shaved his long beard into I don't know what this next sentence is, but it looks like he had shaved his beard into a mustache that was 4 inches long on each side, and I was startled. I couldn't quit thinking the whole time that this was a joke, and he played with his 4-inch long whiskers at dinner. Can we not? Listen, a mustache, period, is a hit or miss with females. Hey, girls either love mustaches or they don't love mustaches. So for you to come with a mustache that's got a 4-inch hang time on each side, boy, you're tripping. Like, you're setting yourself up for a disaster. When you go on a first date, you need to present yourself as the best possible person you can. No Shave November, fellas, is not a good time to go on a date. Okay, because again, it's hit or miss. This is brutal. I don't even have facial hair, so I don't have that problem. Okay, next one. I went on a blind date and I'm 5'4". He said that he was 6'1" and an eye doctor. Gave me a description of what he would be wearing, etc. I get to the restaurant. I walked right past him because I was looking up. He tapped me on the shoulder and he was tops 5'1". The irony is that he is an eye doctor and didn't think that I would see the difference of a foot. This message is for short kings. If you're a short king, it's okay. Like, I happen to be 6'5", I was blessed with that, and this guy happened to be 5'1", and he was blessed with that. You can't hide that, though. Like, you lying on your Hinge, I don't even know the apps. You lying on your profile saying that you're 6'1" and you're 5'1", like, boy, that's a foot difference. I see if you're 5'1", you put 5'3", and you embrace the short king role. Women like that. A confident short king, they love that. But you can't lie. A foot you can't hide. Okay, next one. Worst date. He showed up an hour early to the restaurant. Don't show up that early. And drank 6 beers. Then he ordered a bottle of wine for the table, poured me a glass of wine, drank his glass so fast that I still had half a glass when he finished the bottle. When I was mid-sentence, he said, "You gonna finish that?" Then took my glass and chugged the rest. Okay, this guy is not mentally prepared to go on a date. If you are in a good mental space to be dating, you don't need to have a 6-pack of beers before the date. I get a couple casuals. I do that with my wife. I'm going on a date with my wife. I'm gonna have a glass of wine before we go, loosen up so I can really chit chat with my wife. But 6 beers is a recipe for disaster. Second thing is, you never want to pressure a female to drink on a date. That is like a recipe for I have the ick, because it depends where they're at in their dating world. They may not be in a place where they want to just be getting hammered, having one night stands with some other dude who's hammered. Okay, slow play it. Go at her pace. Maybe another plan is to order a nice glass of wine or a bottle of wine that you like, that you can talk about. You can go, "Oh, I love this bottle of Justin. Justin is a reasonably priced bottle of wine." And you could just talk about it. You could talk about the first time you drank wine, how much you like it. You can make a joke and be like, "Hey, let's act like we're sommeliers and we're going to act like we know the notes in this when I know I don't know anything." Give her compliments. Get her feeling good. She'll drink the wine. She'll drink the wine. But 6 beers before, boy, stop. Okay, this is a longer one. Okay, worst date. Tried Hinge for a few months and finally met a really cute guy who seemed interesting. Unfortunately, I was very wrong. He talked about his car/window tint the entire time. Like an hour and a half of talking about his car. Then he made me go outside in the middle of dinner to hear him start it with his keys from the front of the restaurant. After dinner, we walked back outside and went into detail about every little thing about his damn car. I literally sat on the curb for 30 minutes, then pretended my Uber was parked on the other side of the restaurant so I could walk away. I drove myself, but I couldn't think of a way to get away. So I hid by the trash cans for like 10 minutes and then drove myself home. Deleted Hinge after that. Oh my God. Fellas, piece of advice when you go on a first date: your interest may not be her interest. And I'm not talking about interests like, "Oh, I like dogs, you like dogs." I'm talking about like your obsessive passions like cars. She could care less about cars. There's a number of things that I don't really even talk to my wife about. I'll mention it, but she may not be into that. Don't do this, okay? And if you are, don't make her get up from the restaurant. Your only goal when you're on a first date should be to get the conversation rolling about her. Chat about her. Ask her questions. You removing you and her from the date scenario to go look at your car, she doesn't care. I don't care. I'm a grown man and I kind of like cars and I don't care. So don't make her do that. It looks bad. Okay, here's another another one. This girl's profile name is hilarious, by the way. My kid's swim coach asked me to lunch to California Pizza Kitchen. Good spot. I agreed. Then we went during lunch hours, so slightly cheaper, but he didn't tell me that he only had $12 to his name until after we were done eating, and then he handed me the bill. I didn't even cover his meal or tip. I don't mind going 50-50 on first dates or even paying fully for future dates, but please make me aware so I can make sure I set aside enough funds. Ever since that, I will not go on a date if I do not have enough funds available to cover both of us, just in case. Oh my God. Bruh, I don't know how many times I have to tell you guys, if you go on a first date, be prepared to pay for the whole first date. I don't care if you're one of these dudes who's like, man, it's 2023, like we can, no, you're gonna pay for the first date. It is what it is. And maybe in future dates you do split it, but as a man, you want to be able to do that. So choose a place that you can pay for the first date. If you can't pay for it, like I said, plan something that is cheaper. Go to a coffee shop, plan a picnic, plan like a walk on the beach or something fun that's cheap where you control the price point. Don't go somewhere where you can't control the price point and then you get hit over the head talking about, can you pay for the first date? What? It's not about money. It's not about money. It's going the extra mile to figure out a way to make it happen. Okay. Here we go. I was supposed to go to dinner and a movie with this guy who I'd met before. I drove to his apartment, went inside, and he was watching a movie. He said, I thought we could stay here, order in, and watch a movie. Not a bad plan. I was like, sure. So he continued to watch a movie he had on and didn't start it over or anything. We never ordered food, and when the movie was over, he said, let's go to bed. I was like, wait, what? He got up and walked into his room. I originally didn't follow him, and then he called my name. I went into his room, and his dirt bike was in the middle of the room. I texted my bestie to call me with an emergency and got the hell out of there. Then he had the nerve to text me the next day saying he was disappointed that I didn't stay. Never again. Listen, this dude had bad intentions. If you have those type of intentions, right? You get on the dating apps and you're like, well, I'm in, as people say, I'm in my whole era. That's cool. You know, everybody has that. It's all good. But set expectations. If you agree to go on a date with somebody and go to a restaurant spot and not have that type of first date, then do that. Don't have a girl come in. First off, don't have a movie playing. That's whack. Next, decide the movie with her. And then don't just have these false expectations. Let's go to bed, bro. This is... You can't do that. That's like a very unhealthy way to approach a first date. To put a girl in a pressured situation where she has to come to your room, that's a bad option. Embarrassing. Okay, so that's going to be the first episode of You're Not Slick, She Got the Egg. This is going to be a fun little series. I don't know what will come from this. I hope you guys continue to engage. I'm going to have a horror story link in the bio of the Instagram. So you can click on it. You can submit your horror story because I think this is hilarious. But here's the deal, guys. Going on a first date, choose a first date that makes sense for you and the person you're taking. Also, before you're taking them, set really healthy expectations. If you tell them that you're going to go to a restaurant, go to a restaurant. If you want them to come back to your house or you want to start the date at your house and watch a movie and have a Netflix and chill type situation, make sure they know that. If you're super nervous for the first date and you don't know if you're going to vibe with the person, do something like a coffee date. A coffee date is great because you can take as long as you want to drink the coffee or you can drink it super fast and get out of there. It's just annoying. Guys don't have Riz like they used to. Appreciate you guys tuning in. Hey, You're Not Slick. She got the egg.